What's up, CEOs? So, welcome to another episode of Dear Shamel, Ask the Auto Dealer Doctor. That's me, as many of my clients have called me. This is a show where I give you the best auto dealer advice based on my experience. And if you have any questions, then you can put them down below. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you can email me at hello@autodealerbschool.com. That's hello@autodealerblikebusines.school.com. Let's get to it. Okay, first question. What's a good credit score for me if I want to be an auto dealer? So I like this person already because they know that credit is king. They know that, you got to have good credit. So this week I talked with a credit restoration specialist for inside the Auto Dealer CEO Strategies Facebook group. And she was talking about how to turn your credit into cash for auto dealers. And I mentioned that in my opinion, it seems like anything under a 680 is really considered bad credit. And she confirmed that, 680 is kind of where it's at. And the reason I thought that anything under 680 was bad credit is because, like, in my own personal credit, when I hit 680, that's when a lot of lending opportunities opened up for me. That was when it just seemed like a whole new world. Okay, like approved. So I would have to say that you would need a score of at least 680, hopefully above. And if you are wondering how to get to a 680 credit score, like what are the things you need to do, what's the step, what's the strategy, then you can get with that credit restoration specialist. She is partnered with the Auto Dealer Business School, and I will, the information is below in the description so that you can sign up and get a free strategy session, understand what it is you need to do to bring your score up to 680 or more. Okay. So, 680 is where it's at. Next question. I don't know nothing about cars. How can I sell cars without being a mechanic? All right. So, my official answer is this. There are people every day who start businesses, run businesses, make much money in these businesses, and they know nothing about the product they sell. Or they know very little about the product they sell. But what they do know is they know business, and they know that when you hire the right people, then you don't necessarily have to know much about your product. You just have to make sure the person you hire knows, and you have to have a system to manage them. Okay. So of course that strategy can take a bigger budget. But if you have a bigger budget, then my answer is you don't have to know nothing. Hire somebody who knows, right? And that's your mechanic. And then if you need to speak to your mechanic, then you hire somebody to speak to your mechanic who knows how to speak to your mechanic. Someone you can trust, somebody who's paid to tell you the truth. Okay. So that, of course, is a bigger budget strategy. Now, if you're on a tighter budget, if you're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, then the strategy there is you need to know enough to be able to communicate to a mechanic what it is you need and what you need, what they need to do and do quickly. Also, you need to know enough to know if someone is not telling you the truth about your product or what you got going on or what you believe. Okay. And then you also need to know enough to qualify a good car to buy. So all of that being said, if you're trying to figure out then how to know those things, then I do have a class coming up. It's called Intro to Dealer Mechanics. And it's where I talk about, I first start out with vocabulary words so that you're not sitting around people who are talking to you and you're like, what? I don't know what words are coming out of your mouth. Like, what are you saying? So we go over vocabulary words. We also go over common fixes for engine problems, common fixes for transmission problems, common fixes for electrical issues, I also tell you about the solutions that I use in a bottle that work. So, if you've ever gone to the auto parts store, you see all these solutions in a bottle. And if you've ever wondered if they work or what people use them for, then I talk about which work for me and what I use them for. And I also talk about some other things that I can't remember right now, but if this is something that you may be interested in, then the information is also down below, so you can get more information about the Intro to Dealer Mechanics class. And this is a class that I'm hoping, my goal here is, if mechanics has been your block to being an auto dealer, then let's remove that block. Here you go. Now you know. And now you know how to use a code reader. That's another one that we talk about. But anyway, so how much mechanics do you need to know? You need to know enough to get your cars fixed and to pick them out. Okay? All right, last question. Someone told me that they leave their cars at the gas station, and my husband was also told the same thing by one of his customers at his job. I'm afraid that I could lose my dealer's license this way. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Prayer hands. All right, so what this person is talking about is curb stoning. And a lot of people know about curb stoning and they fear it because the states in the last few years, I would have to say the last 7 years, maybe even 10 years, they have been pushing their agenda, like no curb stoning, like don't do it, it's bad. We gonna get you, okay? So a lot of people are afraid of curb stoning, but let me tell you what the issue with curb stoning is, okay? So it's not necessarily about curb stoning, okay? There are people, and I know, and let me just further describe curb stoning. I know you've seen cars at the grocery store parking lot and it's like for sale, or, driving down the street and, you see another car for sale, etc. So the issue is not the advertising, okay? Because you can have agreement with someone who has that land and you can advertise your vehicles that way, okay? And as you just have to have an agreement with them, whatever you trade, for use of their space, then that's an agreement, like a billboard agreement. Billboards do the same thing. But the issue with curb stoning that comes in for the state, what they're concerned about is they don't want you selling the car from that location, because legally that address is not listed as an address where you do business. Okay, so that's the issue. So if you have an agreement to advertise your vehicles at the gas station, then you would have to then close the deal at your office, because that is legally your address. So the state is really just concerned with protecting the customer. They don't want you out there selling cars from mysterious locations and your customer can't find you. Because if, you have to think like a criminal. So if criminals know that you can do that, then they can go out and just pretend to be auto dealers and sell cars from the gas station. Right? And the state is like, we got to put a cap on that. We can't have that happening. So we got to crack down. We have to make sure that people are selling from their location. Okay. And if you have any more questions, so my advice is, based on my experience, and I do not have experience in all 50 states. Okay. Disclaimer. So if you're like, let me know the real for my state, then this is what you can do. Call your licensing board. They are there. They're not there to trip you up and, be like, aha, we got you. They are there because they want to make sure everybody is safe. Okay. They're okay with you making your money selling cars, but just make sure you're doing it in some kind of order. And this is the order they want you to do it in. So call them up and ask them about curb stoning. Now, let me just say, the person who answers the phone might not necessarily be the person who knows. You need to speak to someone with a little of authority, a little more authority, someone who maybe approves dealer licenses, someone who maybe has, more, they're more versed in the laws and, all that. So basically somebody with a little more authority. Okay. So don't just take the first word. Don't just take whoever answers the phone's word. You need to talk to somebody with authority. And if you need to go down there and make an appointment, go down there and make an appointment and talk about what your concerns are to make sure that you're doing it right. Okay. All right. Hopefully this has been some helpful information. Again, this is Dear Shamel, Ask the Auto Dealer Doctor. And if you have any questions that you want me to answer, then you can post the comments below. Or you can email me at hello@autodealerbschool.com. Be sure to subscribe so that you'll get notifications when these videos are available and other videos that I have for information for you while you are on your journey to be an auto dealer. All right, so I'll see you next episode. Bye.